friends. This is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average babes come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A place where being yourself is the ultimate goal, where your opinion, your story, and your individual experience matters. Join me, your host B, and my guests for real and raw talks every week, laying it all out there so we can all help each other learn more, grow deeper, and evolve collectively. Now keep in mind, as a disclaimer, no one here is an expert and no one is giving any advice. This is strictly our opinions, thoughts, feelings, and for entertainment purposes only. Now with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. I hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I'm the host of the show. And today, you guys, we're on the final episode of season 8, episode 210, What in the Actual Internet, part 10. All right, guys, normally I have a season finale, but as time goes on, I feel like those episodes need to start being towards actual episodes and not just filler episodes. There was a lot of just me this last couple of weeks, and so I wanted to make sure to end with one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth. My babe Hales is joining me today to talk about horrible online parenting and the viral TikTok families and awful online families. We're going to talk and react to some stories, some that Hales has never heard about and one that she has. So super excited to have her on the show. But like I said, this is the finale, the last one of the season. I'm a numbers person, as you guys have probably noticed being on this journey with me. So ending at 210 and part 10 just sounded like chef's kiss. Start season 9. Season 9 will be 211 and it'll start on March 7th. So your girl is going to take about 5 to 6 weeks off, as much as that is going to kill me. And I know that's probably going to not help the views and probably hold it back a little bit. At the same time, I completed 1 full year of podcasting by myself and I got a new laptop for Christmas. So I want to make sure how to use it and I want to set that up. So I want a little bit more time so that editing can become a little bit easier for me and I could do a little bit more in season 9 and season 10 in 2025. So this is the last episode airing on the 24th of January. Normally I try and push it and do a season finale on the 31st, but I thought the extra week would be so nice to be able to learn a little bit more on how to edit, get my guests organized, and then get ahead of season 8. Oh my gosh, I got behind in season 7 and I'm literally recording and producing and uploading in the same week. And that is for full-time content creators, not for full-time employed individuals that do this on the side. Not living my best life through this whole last couple months of the season, to be quite honest. So I do want to get some time to catch up. So there will be a break, but y'all, there is 210 episodes for you guys to go through. I am sure you haven't heard all of them. If you want to reach out to me, if you have certain episodes you want to know about, but just aren't sure and can't find them, have a certain topic, hit me up, send me a message on my DMs on Instagram or TikTok. I would be happy to point you in the direction of what episodes to listen to. But as I mentioned, guys, this is the last episode of season 8. Thank you guys so much for listening. This year has been absolutely incredible. I'm actually blown away you guys stuck around for just me. So thank you again. I'm very excited for season 9. I anticipate it's going to look exactly the same, but perhaps a little bit more when it comes to guests. I would really like to fill almost every episode I can with a guest for you guys, but I think I'm going to keep the same structure of keeping up with Canada and doing my internet ones because that is fun. And I think it's just as important when it comes to pop culture and obviously having the interviews about being real with and about. So nothing is going to change much for season 9, but hopefully some improvements when it comes to like the background. As you guys seen in 200, I kind of amped it up here a little bit more. So let's see what else I can bring and then see what I can do for editing and just being a better host and interviewer and listening and sitting back, which I struggle to do because I'm anxious and I just want to get my words out. But anyways, guys, again, super appreciate all the support in 2024. So excited for 2025 for the last 2 seasons. We'll see if those are the last 2 seasons. I don't know. I'm just saying last 2 for now. We'll see what season 9 and 10 bring. But again, just super appreciate you guys. If you are listening on YouTube or Rumble, make sure to like or subscribe and turn on subscribe and turn on notifications. If you are listening to audio on Spotify or Apple, you can also turn on notifications and give me a review if you don't mind helping. That very much helps me get out there more. And if you want to find me on social media going forward, you're only going to be able to find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm just going to try and hone in on those platforms instead of doing I want to do more on less platforms versus more platforms and less. So expect that in season 9 and 10 to have a little bit more content, but on less platforms. But you guys can always reach out to me. I'd love to have you. I am already booked into the second month of season 9. So if you are wanting to be on the show, please reach out for an interview because those spots will go quick. And I only have about 20 to 25 episodes a season. So it does go really, really fast. But, anyways, you guys, I have an amazing episode with my baby Hales talking about bullshit online that has rage baited us. It worked. Now, let's get to the final episode of season 8. Thanks again, guys. All right, babes, it's time to get on to the show. And with me today for the finale, I have my fave babes, Hales. Hi.
Hey, dude.
I'm so excited. Happy end of
I know. How's it
2024.
going?
Good. I guess 2025 when this airs.
No.
I know.
God.
Do you
Shush.
remember? Like, let's just go back for a second. I was thinking about this the other day when it was 2020 and 2030 sounded like so long
Forever.
ago. And now we're at 2025.
I know. It's insane. No, that's like time capsules and stuff. Like we're getting like, I know it's 2050 for a lot from the like 2000, but
2000s.
like, I feel like this is, yeah, we're getting to like weird, like time capsule, like
Break open
futuristic
time.
movie, like
Yes. Yes.
time
Yes.
2025.
Yes, and I don't know if you've seen, I posted the other day, I shared it and someone was kind of like, it made me actually, it was really beautiful. It's like whenever you put up the Christmas tree, it's kind of a good time to reflect on the last year, right? Coming into New Year's and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And I just thought it was really cool because we do that on the show too, right? Every beginning and end to kind of like look back at all the things. And I don't know, I feel like 2024 was wild, but when I was thinking of like 2020, 2021, it didn't seem so
Yeah.
it didn't seem so like hopeful. You know what I mean? Like I know there's
Yeah.
daunting for 2030 and da 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 da, but like I don't know, 2024 Christmas seemed a little bit more hopeful than the last couple.
I feel like it was our first like normal-ish.
Yes.
But I will say the one thing that like kind of bugged me is like I feel like Boxing Day has changed a lot. I remember Boxing Day being way better.
Yes.
Boxing Day used to be like you save all your cash you get from Christmas and like all the cash you get like in and around Christmas, if you get it from Thanksgiving, like weird relatives, like you gather
Yes.
and then you go and get like great deals on things. What is the 10 and 20% off on Boxing Day? No, I'm wanting 50, 70. Like I want
Stupid
percent
sales.
off.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't want this like like go
That's just like
stuff your
every year.
ass.
That's just like
And this
every
whole
year discounts.
GST thing.
What? Oh, GST thing. Oh my God. And half the people,
So we don't pay the GST, but half the companies like it's not mandatory and it's a lot of work for them to do and it was last minute, so not all of them are doing it anyways, so it's like a complete waste of everyone's time. Like it was supposed to save people money around the holidays. Like it was just a joke. Like there was this few things that were like but this Christmas was, yeah, like our Evie understands Christmas now. Like it was a first good solid proper Christmas, I feel like.
I
We're
love
like
that.
family members aren't weird anymore. Like
Yeah.
there's no awkwardness. I think we're fully over the hump of like
Yeah.
weird family gatherings. I mean,
Divisions.
I'm always susceptible to that. My family is weird as is, but like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like this is the first like, yeah, like over the hump,
Not
back
as
to normal.
political for Canadians.
Yeah,
Definitely
exactly.
not for Americans, but for Canadians, I feel like it was probably the least political Christmas season that we've had over the last decade, I think. Like you said, like I'm sure there's still people that are very in their ways, but I'd say like that's probably the actual fringe minority of Canadians and all that kind of stuff and
I'm
what's
pretty
out there.
confident in saying that I think you're right. This is a first hopeful, solid
Yeah.
Christmas in
I
a
mean, I
while.
got engaged last Christmas. So at the end of Christmas, it was hopeful. And then all of a sudden I got hacked. But like,
Right.
I just felt going into this one, like, I don't know, we've been through a lot, even for myself personally. I was like, oh, that hack, I'm never going to do that again, hopefully. But you know, that like there's a lot that I've gone through, like looking back at the year and having the show by myself for the first year, all those kind of things, you know, like
Dude, it
things
was
that
a
scared
year.
me. Yeah, but it was like a
It's
triumphant
crazy.
year. That's, I guess, what it feels
It
like.
was a, it was a good year. It was definitely it's one of those things that's like it's hard to believe that this year is like gone.
Yes.
Every year you say that, but this year it was just like it went by fast. Like
Yes.
I swear, I just got used to writing 2024 on
I
documents. Like I
know.
feel like I'm gonna be fucked. Like it's
I
just
know.
so like it just went by so fast. So yeah, I'm definitely on board with yeah.
And I think what it is too is that summer always goes by fast because we love a good summertime. But then it's like fall and winter drag. And maybe that was the last couple years because of all the like punitive measures that were put in for us dirty
Yeah.
muggles. You know, like or purebloods, I should say.
Well, it also comes down to like the fact that like you and I both know that true year restart isn't in the winter, and
No.
that's why because winter's supposed to be a slower kind of regenerative time, and
Yes.
but we're thrust into the new year in the middle of it, which is kind of as we all feel because I feel like the like it just doesn't feel correct.
No.
March and like the springtime, like that feels correct.
Yes.
But yeah, it is definitely like, it's just
Jarring.
been, it always is like getting thrown back into the new year and like starting back work. And like some people didn't get time off at all and have been
No.
working this entire time.
Yes.
Like my stepmom, Nick, goes back to work on Thursday on the second. Like
Oh,
it's
that's nice.
Thursday, Friday off.
I know. I
Like
have to go back on Thursday. So I'm like, I'm not, everyone's like, what are you doing for New Year's? I'm like, going to bed early and taking the day to
sleeping.
relax because I got to still
Yeah.
work 2 days after that and it's year end. So
Prepping.
not much,
Prepping.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me too, because that was so jarring for me for so long, is that I'm a very much, and this could be an inventory thing. I don't know. But at least since I've been an inventory person, I'm a quarter reset person so that the year
Yeah.
doesn't like, so like my quarters fall kind of like the seasons too, right? And I kind of align my goals to that and having more grace through that, like, last quarter of the year, knowing that work is going to be insane, where it's like,
Yeah.
the second quarter isn't as insane at work for me. Like it is, but not the year end push, right? And not year
We're kind of
end.
based on quarters too in some
Yeah.
aspects. So I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so just like that way it's like, okay, this is a new year, like what can I adjust that's like maybe a bit busier than the winter, but still understanding that I'm not going to be going outside or doing anything like that because it is still fucking, I'm not going to be as social like what, or really I look at the next 3 months of like what can I do in the more solidarity, knowing that the
Eh,
6 months after that I'm going to be more busy and more social as it gets nicer. Like
yeah.
I do look back at the winter and go, wow, you were just a fucking bum. Rightfully so.
No,
Winter
but that's
depression.
exactly why. Because winter is the
Yes,
downtime. It's supposed to
totally.
be our bump
I
time, our
know.
in.
I know. But
But
like
we're
for me, I'm just like,
uh,
what could I have done? Like but I agree. That's why it's nice to have grace, right? It's just like, okay, well,
yeah,
what of your goals do you have to work on and what can you give up right now? But also being proud of yourself because sometimes we can use that as excuse, right? So it's got to have that balance of like, yeah, relax, but also it feels nice to get stuff done too, right?
yeah.
Like I'm so
No,
torn. I want to take Christmas down today because it's like feels like the right day to do it.
I took Christmas down today, this morning, and
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like I got to
down.
go into the week.
I have to. We're usually on Boxing Day, but we have people
Yep,
coming over today. But I told Nick, I said, honestly, let's leave it up for the dinner we're having tonight. And then today I was just like, you know what? I fucking take it back.
yep,
I want it. I want my house back.
yep,
I
that's
want all my
totally fair.
space back. We need to be able to move the table around to fit more people. Like I love Christmas, but I am ready
Yes, yes, a
to
month
be
is
done.
enough. A month is
Yeah.
enough. I agree. And I like going into the new year with it all clean and organized. And since that's in the middle of
Yeah.
the week, it's just like I'm not going to do that Christmas like New Year's Eve. I'm going to do that today like tonight and then going into Monday it's nice and cleaned
Hell
up.
yeah.
It's like just
Nice.
going into 2025 with 2025 vibes. Like it's not a bad thing. I
Yeah.
do love the
Well, it's
lights,
just
but
fresh, clean start to start.
yeah.
Like, and yeah, yeah, there's just nothing better than a nice fresh start.
And Benjamin drives me nuts with the fucking tree because he's always batting at it. And it's like it's that magic kind of goes away when Grant's gone too, right? So it's like I'm waking up and I'm going down and looking at the tree and I'm like, oh, like A, it's over, which makes me kind of sad, right? In
Yeah.
that sense. So it's just like let's just clean it up and start the new fresh month. Like that's where my
It
head is
turns
today.
into like a jumbo sized nightlight for us for the
Exactly.
last
Yeah.
year.
I'm probably gonna still keep the ones up in my bedroom and use that as a nightlight. I might actually
Oh,
take the outside timer. Yeah.
we've got lights in the lime tree and in like Nick's jade tree and like over on his side, and I'll keep those up for
Yes,
sure.
because those are
But
like
like the
regular
inmate
rights.
stuff,
Yeah,
bye
no,
bye.
those got to go. And I've also been, oh, hi, BB. I've
No,
also been doing the outside lights because our
yeah.
neighbors have as well. So I don't want to be that neighbor that's like everyone's bright lights and I'm just dark. I said to Grant, he's like, unplug them. And I was like, okay. And then I came home last night from the grocery store and everyone was still lit up. And I was like, I feel like a dick and a Grinch. I'm turning them back on. I don't care. Like they
So
don't have
Nick,
that much.
one of the gifts Nick got me this year was lights for our house because I've
Oh,
been bugging him. I want like I just the basic just lights on the
yeah.
house is cute.
Yes.
So he bought me some lights. So we're gonna put them up
I
for
love
next year.
that. I love that. I'm so excited
Nick,
for
can
you.
you come put Shorty on the bed before I like punch her in the nose? She keeps whining and barking at me.
Okay, so we caught up. We're excited. 2024 was
Yeah.
amazing. 2025 is going to be good. Holidays were great. Okay, so we're going to go over awful parents on mainly TikTok, of course, because you're not on TikTok.
No,
So I
I
get to
can't
bring
be an
this.
awful parent.
I know. So I get to,
My
no,
kids
I
are.
don't, no, I didn't mean it like that. I meant
Thank
like,
God. No, I know. I'm
okay.
just saying I'm glad I don't fall in that category.
I meant you're
'Cause
not
I'm
on
scared.
the app, so you don't know what's
No,
going on.
and I'm scared of
None.
what you're gonna tell me because I know a bit, and if it gets worse, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle it.
And like it's so funny because like it's not funny. Sorry, that's not correct. That's not the right word. It's interesting how too like we talked about. I told you it's like, "Oh, do you want to come on and talk about this?" Because I feel like as a parent, I'm not a parent. I'm a cat parent. So, and well, yeah, I've been around with my mom and my brothers, but like not this apparent in this day
Yeah,
and age, right? Especially with social media. So, obviously
yeah.
I wanted your opinion on some of these and you got to see one beforehand, but majority of this you will not know. So we're gonna start with this one, and it's a little bit like quote unquote late to the party. This was reported on quite a while ago, but it is about a TikTok account called the Resilient Jenkins. I've got an article here. So the headline is "Pregnant Mom Who Lives in a One-Bedroom Apartment with Her Family of Six Sparks Debate After Revealing How She Raises Four Kids in the Tiny Space." So once I read this a little bit, I'll show you the pictures too. And again, like big court of
So
public.
her husband, 4 children in a 1 bedroom?
Yes, and she's pregnant with a fifth child, right?
Okay.
So this is like where it's like the TikTok world in the comment section was definitely divided, right? Because like obviously we all know what it's
It's
like to be,
doable,
it's doable, it's livable for
but
sure, but like is it always the best? And this is where people are starting to call out, and is it like are you yeah, there's just some things that are red flags. So
yeah.
the article goes, a pregnant mother of four who's raising her children in a tiny one-bedroom apartment has sparked a viral debate after revealing how her family of six survives living in such a small space. Stephanie Jenkins, who is also known on TikTok as the Resilient Jenkins, has been documenting her family's unique setup in a series of daily vlogs on the video sharing app, where she details the drastic measures she and her husband have taken in order to fit an entire brood into a one-bedroom home. While Jenkins and her husband share the main and only bedroom in the residence, the four children all sleep in the main space of the home, which doubles as their bedroom at night and the family's main living space during the day. So
So they
I'm
sleep
gonna
on couches or do they have
no,
beds?
so I'm gonna share this so I can show you. And this is my first time doing this on this for a long time. Remember, we used to try and do this, and it was really awful. Can you see it? Can you see this here?
I can't even see, like, there's, like, no bed. Oh, there's,
Yeah.
like, little toddler bed.
Exactly. So let's scroll down a little bit
Bro,
more. So basically, it looks like the kitchen table gets,
on foams.
yeah, on foams. So this is what the kids are sleeping on. And that gets moved during the day so that they have places to um, play and whatnot. So I think this is what sparks a little bit more,
So they've
right?
adopted some kids, I'm assuming?
No, I think some are
No?
his and then some are hers, and maybe them
Okay.
together. So they do have a bedroom. And I think this is where the biggest, like, these are there's like a TV and there's an Xbox here, right? So I think this is where criticism started to really spur. It's not necessarily like, she's
In the
showing her
bedroom, but
cleaning.
not in the I only said the adopted thing because, yeah, I saw a cute little black boy in there and I just didn't know, so
So
don't
the
come
dad
at me
is, oh yeah, no, 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 no,
trolling.
no, no, that's fair. The dad is black. I
I
think
was gonna say.
that's, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So there, I think he had a child.
Okay, so mom and dad sleep on a bed
Yeah.
in the bedroom,
Yes.
and the kids sleep in the living room on foams.
Yes. And this was at the current time when this was, like I said, I'm a bit late to the party. There's not has been as much updates, right? But I think one thing that I wanted to point out is like, one, they know that the backlash they're going to get by posting it. And how this came on my radar is a TikTok that popped up that was like, she was saying, if we make enough money, we can have another child. And this is where like debate we're starting to spark. It's like, so you're making money on TikTok, and if you make more money on TikTok, then you can have more kids. And then
And then further,
where the
I
lines
just
start blurring?
like the kids are young,
Hmm.
and so like I feel like it could have worked for the first bit, and like I them not having a bed to me is a little weird. Like they should have like a room and a space and stuff. But like whatever, say they were like dire straits, that
Yes,
it like is thing. But the older they get, like that's not gonna work. Like
exactly.
you need individual spaces because especially with sons and daughters, like you can't expect them to all share shit. Like that's you're just asking for nightmare and like arguments and like I just feel like that's gonna be complicated.
Oh, absolutely. It's
I
like it
also
could be
don't like
working right
that.
now,
Yeah,
but
they sleep in a bed and their kids sleep on the floor. I find that a little like not my. Evie sleeps on the floor, but it is on a mattress. She just doesn't have like legs on her bed.
and the
But
like and there's different circumstances, like again, like we said, there's and that's why it's so hard, but at the same time you're putting this online. And again, why
you can't put yourself out there and not expect some criticism. Like no matter what you do, you could put you peeling an orange online and people are gonna be like, you're not
Yes.
peeling that orange right.
But it's just
Like,
like for me, what bothers me is like when do we start exploiting the kids here? Like when does that like
well,
you know what
like
I
you
mean?
said though, like now we can make more money, we can have another kids to what further your weird cramped living style to further dramatize your channel to make money.
And that's the thing I think that I worry about. It's like, okay, I get having kids, I understand wanting to have more, but where does the line go from? And again, I don't have them
Getting
from
more money should go towards a new place to afford a few more bedrooms.
and not have more children. Like I just wonder where's the line. I get it. They're all loved, they're all fed, they're I get that. They have a roof over the head, there's all that. But again,
Was
I'm
this the more
just
mild one? Because, like, yeah, like they
yes.
seem to be relatively well cared for, but like, still, like, it comes down to kind of. I'm surprised the liberals. I'm sure the liberals are going like they need their own space, like they
Yes.
need their own. Like,
You would
I'm sure
think.
that came out because like I'm not even liberal, and I was still like they need they need their own like. You can't expect the boys and girls to want to share everything like that. I'm
No,
sorry, like
no,
it's just not fair.
no. And she addresses
Like,
this.
where's
So
all their clothes?
where's all their stuff? Like it
The
looks like
bedroom?
maybe it's really hard to
Where
say with
that
all those
where
cramped
that, like,
quarters.
unit was where the Xbox was, like, maybe that's where all their like I said, like, if you're, like, broke and just making it by and, like, this is how you have to live, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
No.
they all seem happy and fed and everything, but,
Yes.
like, people make a lot of money on TikTok,
Yeah.
and if you are a notable enough family and talked about enough family, you're making some kind of money, then it shouldn't be going towards having another child. It should be going towards bettering the children's life that you currently already have
Yeah.
and that you're going to give birth to. That's where you start the focus, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. And it's interesting where she's gone the conversation. So she has addressed, she said, we're a family of six going on seven, living in one bedroom. As the kids grow older, that means we're constantly having to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. In order to make more room for the children to have their own space, she recently reorganized their home to get rid of the dining table, noting that you have one bedroom with six people, a bedroom because more essential it becomes more essential than a dining room. And it's like understandably, and so I guess
But
the
that's in a
younger
separate space. That's just another open space next to our where they're already sleeping in the living room.
yes, exactly. And I guess the
Keeping
babe
curtains up? Like, what the fuck are you like? How,
exactly. So I guess the babies are like in small cots and cribs. Again, understandable. That's that okay, I can get that. But
in your
they're
room
gonna
is
grow.
one thing, but in the middle of the living room with their siblings is very different.
They also have cats that live in their apartment with them, which again, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have animals, but we know like that's very small quarters. So where's the litter box and proximity to food and kids? And again, I'm not trying to judge, but it's just like this is where the criticism is starting to come, where it's like understanding that people are broke. I get that. I get maybe going on TikTok and making money, but I'm also not in the camp of putting kids on TikTok for other
And
not with the amount of creeps that are on there. I'm sorry, like just to make money, no, find other means. But allegedly, from my understanding, the reason why the spouse, the dad, doesn't want to go get a real job somewhere that has like I think it's called the W-2, where you could get like taxed and like the government, is because it sounds like he might owe some money to a past and have another child with someone else and owes them money.
so, who works?
Um,
Does she
nobody.
work?
No, I believe what he does is
Her income is
cars, clean cars, from my understanding, on the side, but like on his own because he doesn't want to have a job that's linked to paying taxes so that
government.
government, yeah, so that money allegedly so
He
money
doesn't have
can
to
get
pay
taken.
child support.
Yes. So that's where a lot of the backlash is coming from. It's like you're having another one, like, and again, I'm not saying that they're bad parent. Like some people just don't know how to manage money. I've been watching this show called The Financial Audit and like feeling good and feeling bad about myself sometimes good, but I've come to realize a lot of people don't know how to manage their money. So I don't want to sit here and say that these individuals are ignorant but when you see like a TV and an Xbox and like kids sleeping
Yeah,
on a
I feel like this is
mattress, like
a shitty excuse to not want to get a job. How old are they?
all the kids, I think they range from like a
How,
baby to like 10 years old,
how
probably, I
old
think
mom
it
and
was.
dad?
Oh,
Like
I'm
my
not
age?
sure. I mean, yeah, I would think anywhere in their early 20s at the
Like
lead youngest.
early to late 20s. So they're the Gen Zs who are privileged and don't want to work and want it easy.
I feel like that might be it.
Or
Um,
millennial, which is
and what
more
thing
embarrassing.
and one thing she's really like what I've noticed in her conversations in here is she's really kind of inciting that like I used to judge people too and my perception is of poor people, we're poor of them, but after I've gone through the years I just don't judge people anymore and you know um
there's being poor, but then there's going online and like subjecting yourself to all the like because you are poor. Well, yeah, like man, social media is so fucking weird, Brandy.
I know, and that's what I wanted to talk about
Like
is
it
like
is
why.
so weird.
And it's like, it's weird for adults. Why are we bringing kids on it? Like, I will die on this fucking hill. And again, whatever, sharing a
The
couple
thing with
pictures about your kids here and there, that's one thing. But literally vlogging their lives nonstop like this and making money off the content, it doesn't
the thing that
matter how
bothers
good
me
you are, you're going to end up exploiting them no matter what.
is the dad like kind of like you don't want a job because you don't want it to be linked to yeah taxes, therefore like trackable revenue, therefore they know you make money and have to pay child support.
Hmm. Allegedly.
Too fucking bad. Like you have four, almost
Plus
five, like
six.
six to seven, like who knows how many children out there, and you refuse to support some of them, but you're gonna exploit the like.
Doesn't he
I
want to do
just
skip the
like,
dish or Uber or anything because this is down the States, right? Like, doesn't want to do any of
or you
those
need that new
things.
video game that costs $80 and fuck
Yes.
these kids, they don't need a bed.
And
Like
that's right.
what?
And it's like, and I guess too, like, and that's the other part of this is that what is that they knew that they weren't going to get good comments. So are you
I
posting this and rage baiting to get more attention? Because rage bait gets
But
millions
even
of
then, like,
views.
do you make money off views
Yes.
on TikTok?
Yes.
How
Oh my
many?
gosh, a
Like,
lot.
you have to get like millions of views to
I don't think
make
it's
money.
millions. I don't know because Canada's so different. We don't get much. But down in the States, like some of these like massive TikTokers that get millions of views, they're making bank, dude. Like good money off of
Solely
them.
from views and
Yes.
like the commercials and whatever that come after and
Yeah,
before and blah
strictly
blah
from
blah.
views. From my understanding, I mean, obviously, I won't ever get those
But they
kind of
could
views or make that
potentially
money.
be making killer cash and still living dirt poor to continue raking in money to then continue to essentially neglect their children.
Yes.
Like
Yes. And so
at
maybe
least
she's
this
not there
unless
yet.
they're
Like maybe she's not.
malnourished and like
Yeah.
dirty, but
And maybe she's not there yet. I don't know. I don't know what the stats are, but it's like that's what the goal is to make money
that
off of
sounds
there.
weird
And
to
that's,
me. Like I
I
know
hate
nothing about
it.
these people. I've never seen them, but
No.
like from what you're explaining, like that just sounds like really strange.
It's very
And
strange.
like you said, bad parenting. Like the
It's
fuck? You're putting your children's like life, you're essentially like humiliating your children, saying like we're so poor, my children sleep in the living room. Like, what are you gonna do when your kids go to school and they're older? Oh, you're the kid that I see sleeps in your living room. Then what?
and like
Then
another thing too, it's like
what? It's still
there's
like
two parts of this. Like you absolutely should be able to share the struggles and motivate other
and
people.
yeah.
But why do your children have to be involved? Why can't you wait till they're sleeping and go on TikTok and tell your story of what you did that day or post the
Yeah, it can be just
videos?
your face. It doesn't have to be your
You
kids.
could even post your kids, and you know what? On InShot that I pay what $20 a year for, there's literally a
Blur.
face blur. You put it on there, end of the video, that's it. You could blur it. You could, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could protect your children, but you're not. And who knows who's watching, right? Like, who knows who's watching? And I just think it's absolutely insane that they're posting these kind of things on TikTok and for one, like encouraging bad like comments. Like that can't be good for your psyche either, whether you're know what's going to happen or not, or whether you're prepared for it. I just don't think it's a
Yeah.
positive
I
thing.
think it's crazy that they could just sleep in the bed and it's not like they even have their kids sleeping in the bed with them. Like
Yes.
that to me just seems very like higher than like I don't know.
Like they're
I don't know.
below
Like I
them.
feel like that's like behind the scenes, like the dad's secretly like a control freak and like
Yeah. Where's
was it
the
over?
money
Like I
going?
just feel like they're super weird that like I just I don't know.
It's very uncomfortable. I don't love it.
I don't know. I don't
It's giving me kind of not really, but almost like down this row like rail of like Ruby Frankie, like not entirely, but like her kids did have to sleep in like a beanbag and like she's not punishing them. They're poor. I get that. But at the same time, like we said, why are you having
But
more
are they poor?
kids? I don't know. Are they or like again, like maybe they're on their way to make money from being TikTok. Maybe that's her goal is like if they make more money and they make TikTok a thing and they become like a family vloggers, maybe then they can expand their family is
Like
the
the rags
goal.
to riches type thing?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, please do not bank your income on your family vlogging.
Children suffering.
Again, like how many fucking it's okay. So like, okay, so that's that one. So resilient Jenkins, everyone go. This is like old stuff, so I'm sure there's progression. It was hard to find. Like I said, TikTok drama sometimes is hard to find without finding videos. Um,
Yeah.
and I understand. Yes, if you're a like you know poor family, you don't have a lot, and teaching your kids to be grateful for what they
Oh,
have and respecting respecting their things and respecting, like people with nothing are still valuable and amazing people. 100%, those are great lessons.
I
But
went to Google the resilient Jenkins, and one of the things that comes up is their Amazon wish
oh
list.
yes, that's okay. So on that wish list,
I'm
there
going to
that's
look.
another thing. Apparently there's like car cleaning stuff. So then it's like helping him do his business. So it's like not even like stuff for the kids. It's like stuff for his business that he wants people to pay for.
No,
Yeah, allegedly. I don't want to get sued.
I can't find it on Amazon.
I
It's
wonder if
not
it's
showing it.
gone now. Maybe
There's
it's,
a bunch of videos. Yeah,
yeah, I forgot
there's
about
some
that.
toy stuff. But yeah, there's like a bunch of like chemicals for cleaning as well.
For his business. So it's like fund my business because I don't want to get a job otherwhere. And it's like, okay, there's financial advisors, there's ways around it. Like work with your ex. Like I don't know all the stuff. I just think again,
That blows me away.
and here's one thing I want to say too is like these situations change so quickly. It's almost impossible to keep up to any of this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So when people and content creators that get talked about get mad because people get the wrong information, it's like, brother, it is so hard to keep up to all this shit. So like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to have to understand that not everyone's going to know every single story about you and every single detail. They're just going to see a couple headlines and talk about it because that's fucking crazy. So like,
So there's this one Reddit that says the Amazon wish list. It says if you didn't need more proof that her man comes before her own children or herself, their Amazon wish list has a $55 keyboard cleaner on it, but only a $37 vacuum that she uses every day.
that's what I'm saying. Reddit always serves.
Yeah.
If you
Now to
can't
their
find it,
credit, it does say it can be used for a car as well. So they're going to be using the vacuum. It's just
wow.
crazy. Like, how do you like?
How's this
I don't know.
glorified too?
They have to be making money if they're
Yeah.
on
Now,
TikTok.
now for
So,
sure, I
like,
would think
how do you
so.
have like an Amazon wish list?
And like, how do you just? I just don't. It's just going back. Like, talk about your life. Talk about your situation. Sure, inspire people. Like, there's a mom on TikTok that I absolutely love, and she does dollar store dinners for families. And she goes to the dollar store and she shows people how to make amazing meals for families that can't afford it. To the dollar store, right? Which I think is amazing. Like that kind of content, live for that. She
For
does
sure.
not show her family, she doesn't show her kids eating it, nothing. Like there's ways that you can share your story if that's truly what you want to do to inspire other moms, to help other people be
I think
motivational without showing your fucking kids
the worst
24/7.
the worst part about it is the fact that they're like there's no way around it. You're using your kids for views and clicks
Exactly.
because people are always going to be more outraged and more
Mhm.
drawn in when kids are involved in any form of neglect, abuse, controversy. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
And
as we should.
not trying to
But
be rude, but y'all moms judge the most. Like, and I'm not saying that's good or bad, but either you're doing it to figure out if you're a good mom or not. Like, it's not a bad thing to be judgment. It just depends on your actions with it, right? So it's a
being
good thing. But I
a
do
lot of the
think
mom
that's a big
things
thing.
are the last things on earth that I'd ever want to be judged on because everyone does it differently.
100%.
Everyone has different opinions, and quite honestly, like, yeah, like to be subject to that, like, you're gonna get all sorts. So, like, putting yourself out, like, there's no way your parenting style is ever going to match precisely to someone else's. So, there's always gonna be difference. There's always gonna
Totally.
be, it's a hot button topic.
Yes, and I think it's good to have conversations and like how do we do this and come together, but it's like look at me, look at my life, this is what I do and I have the right, and I just think that's where things get really muddy and that's where people get upset and then it's like you're showing, I'm one of those people that I just pay attention to detail. So if you're showing me a picture of your house, I'm looking in the background. I'm looking at what
Yeah.
pictures you have, I'm looking at what art you have. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like I'm trying to get a picture. Like you're sending me a full picture or a video, I'm looking at those things. Like so when I am in my house, I think, okay, if I'm going to the bathroom, I'm not judging, but I'm looking because I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh,
What
look
do
at
people see?
what do people see? What are they looking at? Well, I could see in my dirty like baseboards. I'm gonna clean that. You know what I mean? Not like that, but that's kind of so you have to
Yeah.
expect that people are going to do that. I'm not saying it's right or the other, but you know how you don't get those judgments? You don't put your
Yeah.
shit online.
Yeah, the internet's crazy. I can't believe that. I can't believe
Crazy.
that.
So next one, let's go into the next one, which like I said is so crazy because as I had these notes and I did this talking when I told you like we're going to talk about Nurse Hannah and you're like who is Nurse Hannah? 17 diapers mom, who is this? What are we talking about? And then it showed up on Instagram and you've seen it.
Yeah,
Um
for
but for those that haven't, again, another mom, all allegedly is what I'm going to say. But what I thought was
this.
funny today is that I went to go look because there's a guy on social media. His name is Anthony Blackwell. And
Okay.
I just followed him through this Nurse Hannah thing. And it sounds like he goes and finds bad people out there and he like reports CPS on them. That's what I've seen so far. So like he
Okay.
will search people and like get them called to CPS, get cases open for children that get abused, it seems, and get like exploited online. So I'm watching this and he's calling her out, he's getting CPS, and within a couple days, all of a sudden these people come out on TikTok saying he is a family diddler. He like abused his cousin and all these kind of things. And this woman made series upon series. Other people made series on it. And then he shuts his account down. So the last of my notes today, because I hadn't seen him because his TikTok was gone, was like, yeah, as far as I'm seeing, is he called out Nurse Hannah, then someone called him out, and then he disappeared. So like that doesn't look too good, right? Like, and
That looks
there's
terrible.
looks terrible, right? So today I'm like, let me go back on just to make sure I still have my information up to date. Cause again, this shit moves so quickly. And all of a sudden I found him. And then a post and pin saying that like none of these allegations are true. Like, like I don't know much about it, but it's going through courts or whatever. He's had problems with when he was a child, like his own thing. Like there's more to this than so again, like we know people that blow up on TikTok and then other people try to get famous off of them, right? Not every allegation is true. Fortunately, unfortunately. So the last thing I'd seen is like my notes were like, oh, sounds like he may allegedly be a family diddler. Well, now apparently that's like going through court to clear his name. And as I was researching this, he's calling out the chick I want to talk about next and calling CPS on her. And I had her listed down as a bad mom on TikTok.
Dude, that's crazy.
Isn't that fucked? I was like, oh my God, he's calling up the next girl. Don't have time to look at this. But anyway, so back to the 17 diapers mom. And I
She's
think
gross.
she's gross. And I think the biggest thing that bothers me about this is somewhat of a good message, very wrong deliver, right? Like
Yeah.
I think postpartum.
Good intention, bad execution.
Exactly. And again, and I wanted to talk to you about this too, like again, where's the line with postpartum depression too and what we deem, and again, who's our opinion, but at the same time, like let's think about all the moms that have gone over the edge and murdered their kids with postpartum
I
depression.
just
Where's the line that we get worried about, like, oh well, she just has postpartum depression, so don't worry about those 17 diapers laying around? Where's the line, I guess, is my question. Is there one?
there's depression and there's just I feel like she fully did that for the fucking
Don't think it's real.
content. Um
Rage baiting.
who I mean, understandably people have like diaper genies and like things like that. I had just a typical little bathroom one with a swivel
Yeah.
top to throw
Dollar
them in
store
and I'd
one.
empty it once a day. So like you're bound to have them, but like just to leave them around your house is like a whole like I don't know. There's depressed and there's just like what do you do? Like
Yes.
I didn't I feel like we all have a form of postpartum,
Mhm.
but how it manifests is completely different for everyone. Definitely did not experience anything like that. I had my moments for sure,
Yeah.
but like
Wasn't
not
like that.
cleaning my house and having my children like be surrounded by dirty diapers is like
A different level.
a choice.
It's a choice. So for those that don't know, Nurse Hannah
Yeah.
went viral for the most part on TikTok. It sounded like she'd posted stuff in the past about some stuff that people had raised their eyebrows about. And again, I'm not going to say shit about fuck because it's your decision to do it what your kids. But I
Yeah.
guess she was like 25 weeks pregnant and was like, I'm not going to a doctor. I'm not going to be going to a doctor. I know my body. My body can have its own baby. Like
I know people like that don't like doctors and don't go.
so that's where I'm like, I kind of get it. At the same time, like I do understand that there are benefits to some of the Western things that are out there and advances to also help. You just don't
Oh,
know,
for
right?
sure.
So you can have a balance thing. I think it's fair, again, to each their own. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to really say anything because I'm not pregnant. I wouldn't take that route. I want everybody around me and I want all opinions and I want to pick based on how I feel across the board. That's just my choice of care.
I
So
would have preferred a little bit less intervention, but I still would have preferred them to be there in case anything
sure,
goes
Sneaky.
south. Because anything goes south,
So
you're gonna thank them.
Exactly. So that's what I've seen. Like I've seen a lot of positive home births, but I've actually lately seen a lot of ones that because of this like more trendy of home births, I've seen
Yeah.
actually women that have been gone into now emergency C-sections into
Yeah.
the hospital because it has put their children. So I think it's
Mhm.
beautiful now. I didn't know that you can have the room without the doctors and have your midwife and
Mhm.
be able to be in the hospital so they're right there, but the whole process is then carried on through with your midwife and your doula, which I think is beautiful. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
middle ground of like I'm right here if something happens, but I prefer to go
And
through
the
this as
doctor's on
natural.
call and there if
Exactly.
anything goes really wrong. But
Exactly. So that's where she was kind of like already raising people's thing. And of course, people are throwing shit at her because I guess she supports Trump and da 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 da, whatever. She's more holistic, I think, and more natural. So there's going to be hate towards that, which I don't personally have a problem with. I'm kind of to the each their own. But
mhm.
so, anyways, what she got famous, quote unquote, famous on TikTok and what she exploded is that one day she was like, follow me around as I've been a single mom for the day.
Mhm.
And I'm collecting 17 diapers and or she didn't say 17, let's collect and see how many. So she did it, da 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 da,
Yeah.
they're all over the place. She collects them, it goes viral. A lot of moms are like, here's my 17 diaper story. Which again sparked great conversation,
Mhm.
but then it sparked also the conversation of what is the line. And I think it's things that came out after that that people really started like, again, you post a picture of your life, I'm checking it all out.
For me, it was the second thing you said, where she does, I saw the video, she does not change pee diapers at all. She only changed poop diapers. And to me, that was like, what? Like,
Yep.
she also gave an argument at one point of, well, I'm not going to spend that on me, so why would I spend it on them? Would you sit in a piss diaper all day? No, so why should they have to?
100%, a hundred
Like,
percent.
why'd you sit in pissy pants and underwear all day
Yes.
and only go to the bathroom and fix yourself up when you like take a shit? Like,
Yes.
no. Like,
No,
try
absolutely not.
fucking that again. Like, are
Yes.
you kidding me?
Yes. And that I think again to that, it's like those little things that are starting to stack, right? That people are
That
starting to
upset me.
notice. And that's where
Yeah.
people started getting upset. It's like, okay. And then she kept doing it. Like how many diapers you have in a day. And then she says this is all rage bait. And she says that this stuff is like satire and her man is super helpful. But in her TikToks, she's alluding to her lazy husband and he does nothing, and then the flinching video came out.
That one was that. Oh, I did it to Evie. I did this to her and
Yep.
like kind of in her face, and she kind of like looked at me funny because kids,
They
that
don't
just
normally
really,
do that. So, to be
that was
honest, this is
heartbreaking.
actually came across my TikTok, and what came across my TikTok was parents doing this to their kids, seeing being like, "See,
Yeah.
they're not doing
That,
anything," and I'm
yeah.
like, and I fell down it. So I'm scrolling, and all these parents are doing it, and I'm like, "What is this for?" And then I see in hashtag Nurse Hannah, and then that's how I stumbled across this. And then my favorite
Was
podcasters, do we know them? Podcast, they talked about it, and I was like, okay, this is bigger than I thought. And then that's where I seen the videos of the baby flinching. So again, if people don't know, go look it up for yourself, make your own decision. And again, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's not, but little boy was sitting in
that shopping cart,
the shopping cart, and dad went to hand him like I think it was like chicken nuggets or
ice
something.
cream or a bag of something from the frozen aisle.
Yeah, and his flinching is like flinching, not like he thinks like that he's like going to prepare himself to be hit, like that he's
Yeah.
had. That's what
Or
that's
like
what people are
thrown at
saying.
him or something.
Yeah, that's what behavioral therapists on TikTok were kind of saying. And then that's what really blew her up after that. And then people really started digging in. And that's where she came on to this Anthony Bardwell, and he called CPS. So now there's an ongoing investigation. She's not been arrested. But it is important, I think, that CPS does get called, and there are these entities to be go because CPS doesn't just go and take your kids right off the bat. Like they go in and check and look at things,
Investigations,
investigate,
right?
and as from my understanding, and again, there's probably a whole lot of dark lore behind there, but we got to look at some of the positives is to make sure that they're given the understanding, because I feel a lot of kids, parents are just babies having babies, and then they start having
Well,
kids and they don't
she's in
realize.
her like early 20s.
Yes.
She's a young mom
Yes,
for
and
sure.
she has a 2-year-old and then a newborn kind of baby too, right? and
Well, and
and
it's super trendy now to have children, so
it
everyone's having them.
is, especially you can make money on TikTok and all this kind of, again, back to the family vloggers and people exploiting them, right? And there's just like a bunch of other stuff that piled up, like videos that people went back to where the babies or the sons of the 2-year-old's going to reach for food and they smack his hand away, and like, and I get that you also like want to teach them, but he looks hungry. He looks visibly hungry in a
A
lot of these
jacket for
videos.
me.
The
She didn't
jacket.
have like a winter jacket for him, and she went to Walmart or wherever,
Hmm.
Target, and the winter jacket was $30. And she's like, I'm not spending that on him.
Yeah,
And that was
he's
her
gonna grow
argument. I
out
don't
of it.
spend $30 on new clothes for me, so why would I spend $30 on new clothes for him? I'm like, because it's your son and it's winter,
Yes,
bitch.
yes.
Like, hello.
It's very
thirty
simple.
dollars in the grand scheme of things. It's not a fucking $200 child's jacket. It's $30.
Yes,
There's thrift stores specifically for children in a lot of areas too. Like, kid, come on, like
yes.
that was just like that's just like
Pathetic.
blatant. Like that's clickbait. Like that's there's no way he doesn't have a jacket and she didn't actually buy it and she's just doing that for the clout of it because
Yes.
that was just like that and the pee diaper thing. I was like, that's fucking unreal.
And
Like
a couple videos and TikToks before that, people are like, "Oh, it's not that cold." She showed how cold it was with a frozen bottle in her car. So it's like, no, it is cold. That baby should not be just wearing a thin jacket at all. That's
no,
fucking pathetic. And again, like again, I also boils down to like I will be play the devil's advocate and say y'all just don't know how to balance your finances because you can go out and eat fast food and stuff like that. You
yeah,
can cut back on that and eat at home and put. I'm
yeah,
sorry, like I know we don't want to judge, we watch, we don't judge, whatever we see, whatever, but no, we have
yeah.
to in a little bit, you guys, because I'm not shaming, but there's a degree. Again, you're putting it on social media, thank fucking god, because maybe
But
you
it
wouldn't
comes
get
to a point where
checked.
it should be shaming because you need
Exactly.
to learn that like what you're doing is just not it's incorrect. What
And
you're doing is so not good.
it's not good. And then also to that point, what is it showing other young moms that don't understand? Like, oh, look at she's making all this money on TikTok by doing these things. And then people replicate it to make money. Like, it's a thing. It's not like it's disgusting and it just breeds more of it. So I'm glad people are calling this out. I'm glad people are like, no, it's not fucking satire. And CPS is involved. So we'll see where that comes to. But a lot of people are alluding that she's, again, like Ruby Frankie, and she
There's very
laughs.
obvious satire and then there's yeah, that's a scapegoat.
And she laughs. Oh, people comparing me to Ruby Frankie is laughable. Girl, if I was getting compared to Ruby Frankie, I would be fucking looking at my life and self evaluating a bit. I wouldn't be laughing at it and thinking, that's laughable. Are
That's
you
so
kidding?
crazy.
No, I'd be like, okay, if I'm not, then the content I'm putting out is making it seem that way. I should probably stop doing that or
Yeah,
understand that this is what's going to happen to you. People are going to find out,
that's
people are going to
wild.
be upset, and they're going to call the fucking cops. Thank God. So,
That's wild.
TBD to see what happens to Nurse Hannah. I don't think it's funny. And the one other thing
And
I
she's an
do,
actual nurse. Like
yes,
that's the thing, like, because like the poop diapers is one thing, and like Evie used to get really bad rashes depending on her
I get it.
like it when they're little, like
Yeah.
the acidity goes up and down, which makes sense. But like even pee, like it's ammonia. Like,
Yes.
is that like a good thing to be
I,
sitting in all day long?
I
Like,
feel like it's
no,
not. I feel like there's nothing that you should be sitting in all day that's good for you
not
in the
touchy.
slightest. And again, like I understand there's PPD, I understand all of that, but it's like maybe get help for it instead of going to TikTok and blowing up on it. Maybe go to a mom support group and talk
Yeah,
about it. Maybe talk about it to some family. It's just like it's so weird now that it's so normalized to just bring that to TikTok with zero
it's
shame.
just crazy.
Like what the fuck?
And I'm not like I love Evie. We're not having another chocolate bar. Get out of there. See, good parenting.
Yeah, see? You say no.
But no, like I'm one for like I love when parents scare their kids. I find a lot of
Yes.
those that whole egg crack
Oh, I
video
thought it was
shit was stupid.
hilarious.
Like, there's some funny kid videos and like involving kids because kids are hilarious and Evie does the stupidest and funniest things all
Totally.
the time. And so like I fully get it. But like this is like the content Beast bringing is like it's not even funny. Like this is just like traumatic child content and
Yes.
like clickbaity, like completely unnecessary
Trauma.
issue. Like yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's not
unnecessary.
funny. And like I said, you know, kids on TV shows, whatever, once in a while, it's making the content off the children and exploiting
Yeah,
them. That's the
yeah.
biggest issue that I have, and I don't think that most
It's
kids
very
want to have.
Nickelodeon.
Yes, it's like you don't want to have like who wants to have their video of them 24/7 aired all the time live streaming and vlogging their life and talking about very important stories like I said like Ruby Frankie like that was messed up and now her daughter's actually fighting for
I
kids
feel
that
like
do get exposed and stuff like that and trying to fight for their privacy and stuff like that.
it's also like the Jenners and like the Kardashians. Like
Yes.
those, the two youngest were like in the limelight from the time they were young. And like, look at how, I'm sorry, but like, look how they turned out. Like, I don't care if you like them or not, because I sure as hell don't. But
I
like,
don't.
they're spoiled, greedy, fake. Like,
Yes.
I don't think there's an ounce of them that is
Not
real
an
anymore.
ounce.
Like, it's just like unreal to me. Like,
Yes.
they just, it promotes such a shitty, it always keeping up with the Joneses, and no one
Yes.
wins at that. I feel like everyone,
Never.
no one ever wins with that.
Not for a
And that's all
second.
this is like the online presence of a lot of stuff is just like, yeah, keeping like who can outdo who, which is wild when it comes to children. And it
Yes.
should never come down to children of who can outdo who. But that's what it seems like it is almost.
But yes, agreed. And it comes down to like I said, exploiting your kids, and you get used to making your money off that content, and then your people get used
Yeah,
to you
that's
getting
where your base comes from. And then the second you change it, though, is when you get the people like, I didn't come here for this, and this isn't
exactly.
what I wanted.
Yes, and then they just keep abusing their kids even more, right? So
Yeah, like,
this is
no.
nuts. So that leads me into the next person that Anthony is actually calling out currently. So her name is
Yeah, okay.
Ash Trevino. So Ash Trevino, allegedly, she's like 30 years old. She came on my radar as well before this with the Do We Know Them podcast and Sloan's podcast, and then she showed up on my TikTok actually after, of course. But she's known as the inmate hopper. So she has
Who?
dated the inmate hopper.
Inmate Hopper? Oh
Yes.
my god, what a way to be known. Ew.
And she allegedly loves it. She
My
loves it.
fucking god, the
She
inmate
loves
Hopper.
it. Exactly.
That's
So
wild, Brandy.
I know. I told you I had fun for you today.
Holy
So
hell.
she has dated roughly 30 inmates. I'm sure that's gone up since I pulled that stat. But predominantly on her TikTok, she goes live and she will do things like flaunt her designer handbags. And she lives in Texas. She goes on live talking to these inmates, and she proclaims a lot of them are like innocent. She also
Oh my
does
god.
sexy talks with these inmates live. And as of recently, she did a live with her toy.
So is this like an OnlyFans thing?
Nope, she does this on TikTok. Yeah.
You're allowed to do that on TikTok?
I don't know how it got up there, but she wasn't on camera. It was off camera. So you couldn't see what
You
was
can
going
hear it?
on, but you could hear it.
The
Yes.
grossest part of that? That's all you got? Actually, both are gross, but like the sounds, ew.
So that's what popped up with from Anthony Bardwell or whatever Baldwell. I guess he's
So
calling
then
out
he's like,
that.
bye. She's a mother?
So that was where I was leading to. She's also
Oh
a mother
no.
of teenage girls that sit in the next room and beg her to get off of live because it's embarrassing, and they can see it, they could hear it. She's drunk all the time, and she goes on lives and does TikTok battles with like Jeffree Star and all these people to make again money. But get this, her kids lived with her with their grandparents for a long time. She just got out on her own this like last 5 months. Her kids are just now coming to visit. She doesn't have a bed for them. She just got them one apparently for Christmas. She didn't have a dining room table. But yet she has money to have all these designer bags, and she goes like to these Airbnbs and meets these criminals. So she's dating inmates, and these inmates are coming to their home where her children are. And some of these inmates have been charged with killing who she's talking to, killing kids around her child's age, and she just doesn't give a shit.
You know, heaven forbid anything ever happens to Nick and I. I'm dying a widow. I've already decided this because like I have no patience for the dating world because this shit like this, like I would have to be dating and know a man for a long time before she gets in or before he gets introduced to my child,
100%.
let alone inviting them over to be in her space. A convicted if I found that out, instant goodbye, red flag.
100%.
See ya, change my phone number, fucking moving in some cases. Like how they're 16, like that's mortifying.
Yep.
Please mom, get off. Like I can hear what you're doing. I see you on TikTok. Like can you imagine the harassment they're getting from their friends, like
So
go to
apparently
school,
they
like,
don't
oh,
go
I
to
saw your
school.
mom on TikTok last night.
Apparently they dropped out of school. Sounds like she let one of them jump out of school. Then she also does things like went to Disneyland, and she didn't bring her kids, and everyone's like, well, why didn't you bring her kids? And she's like, well, they don't fly, and one of them was just starting school, but she let the other one drop out. And then
I'm
she goes on TikTok live, and she only goes to her subscribers. So she tells her subscribers, and she gets so much hate online, dude, like so much hate, like incredible amount
that's
of hate.
fucking
She tells
wild.
she tells all of her followers to go follow her daughter because her daughter's going to go on live. So over 8,000 people go and follow her daughter and then just give her massive hate. And so she comes to her mom's crying. She's like, I can't handle this. This is intense.
But
Her
they're
mom
going
says,
to her
buck it up. It's just social media people. Like, go back on there and tell them too bad. Like, people are going to be mean to you. You just have to deal with it. And it's like,
they're going to her page assuming she's going to do something gross too. Like
probably,
she's an underage girl and there's perverted dirty people going to her page hoping she's going to do some slutty garbage like her mother. That is offensive. That is so vile. Are you kidding me?
mm.
Who the fuck is this?
Her name's Ash Trevino. She's on TikTok. And she's like
How old is
alleged
she?
30. And she was like trying to hook up with a guy who
So
was
she's
like
a teen
18,
mom.
19, and she like will do this like live dates, and it's like clearly some of these inmates are just like trying to get clout from her. Some of them have
Children?
got like Facebook or like TikTok famous from like her talking to them, and then they get out, and so she's trying to paint these stories of these guys being innocent and like, you guys don't know, you don't know the story. And she's like, oh my god, it's just the most. And then it's just so gross. So
Man,
hopefully,
that's like
Anthony,
mind numbing.
it's mind numbing, dude. There's so much more to this, you guys. Like, the lore behind this shit is deep. I don't have time to go through all of it, obviously. But even some things, like people were telling her to get like a dining room table. So she like did, and she was like, "Oh, look at this $6,000 table I got." And then a receipt got leaked that she's renting it from like Rent a Place. So it's like she's not even putting the money she gets. She's like renting it to like put stuff in this house, which if you were actually poor, great, that's a great alternative. But like then you're
Uh,
showing off your designer handbags, like out of touch.
why are you renting a dining room table? Don't you need to eat? Like what?
Nope, I guess not. She just orders like Wingstop, I guess, which is like yeah,
Why isn't the Jenkins family doing that and renting beds or some shit or
something.
renting
They should really just
like
get together. But like,
do
so
it,
that's
rent some beds and test them out and see if they work and if they don't send them back and then you're back to your mats. Like
yes.
she let criminals in her house. That's
And know
really
where they
disgusting.
are and talk to them. And then on top of that, so I guess she was like hanging out with some other chick on TikTok. And as they were hanging out, they were watching the Chris Watts documentary. She said it was boring and that he probably killed her because he wasn't happy. So she's very much pro criminals, pro those type of people, and them like
So your
being
wife makes you
misunderstood.
unhappy, therefore you kill her, and that's
I
okay in
guess
her book.
so. Yeah. So the girl she was hanging out
So
with, I
she's
guess that's the last
what's
time.
that? Not Munchausen by proxy. What the fuck is that? It's not really the captor one either, but like she seriously has that like fucking
Oh, the
like
narcissism is insane.
the night like yeah, like how do you
And she just goes on lives in her bedroom and she just does stuff to make money. So I guess like so
guarantee she has an OnlyFans if you're
oh,
if this is
most
what you're telling
likely, most likely. And or if not, maybe she's making so much on TikTok she doesn't have to. So she like closes off
that's
messages, closes off comments. She doesn't care.
wild.
She doesn't, and so she doesn't post a lot. She just goes on lives and then it goes away, right? So a lot of the stuff you don't see. So like a lot of the information about her is if you
So it
don't
can't
catch the
get taken
lives.
down and it can't like
So I guess
oh what a
someone so that
sneaky
I know. So that Anthony guy allegedly, because TikTok has minors on it, you cannot post those kind of things on TikTok.
no.
So I guess he's reported her and there's going to be
Multiple
investigation
times.
in her. So that's, I don't know much about it. That's as I was like just checking up on my sources before we got on today. I seen
That's
that and I was
ins-
like, oh my God, the two worlds combined, the two stories combined. What the fuck? I was like, I don't have time. But I do have one Reddit because again, a lot of TikTok stuff is all video. So there's a lot for you to
yeah.
like read, right? So this is all the stuff I pulled off TikTok myself. But there was a Reddit post saying Ash's poor daughters have to wake up today to videos of their mom drunk for hours talking about abortion, accusing Santos, which is that younger guy I was telling you about she's trying to hook up with, of SA, getting into fights with strangers online. I'm sure a messy house with chips and leftovers from Wingstop for breakfast. How humiliating and embarrassing for them. They may have poked the bear though if Perez Hilton decides to report on them. They're all fighting with the law. Ash is fine being drunk and letting her kids sleep in a house full of strangers. It's so reckless. And like clockwork, she'll come back on Sunday playing country music, coming down from her high and realizing she has no real friends. Those kids have got to be embarrassed.
She's been abused. She
100%.
has fully been abused.
Yep.
There's no way you think that it is acceptable. Like she grew up in that is
Yes.
my thought.
Yeah.
She grew up with like parents that like didn't give a fuck, had people coming over all the time, getting high, getting drunk, passing out on their couches, like strange people around. She's probably had to deal with some pretty crappy traumas like abuse, SA abuse and
Yep.
stuff. I can almost venture. Because how the hell you put your daughters in that kind of like predicament and tell them to buck up when they bitch about it to like
What kind of support?
who
Why would you
who
expose them to
are
that?
you?
Why would you want that? Why would you want that for your kids? Why would you want that future for your kids to just be
Like, that blows
chronically
me away.
online? It
That
makes me
blows me
so
away.
sad. And so it's just super interesting to me that both of those worlds collided because, and again, like Sloan, Do We Know Them podcast, like you just go and look up Ashley Trevino. There is no shortage of videos about her. There, it's everywhere. Um,
Yes.
with all of them too, Resindley Jenkins, all of them, Nurse Hannah, you look them all up. It's all everywhere on video. It's very hard to find articles. But the last one, and I don't want to dive too deeply into this really too much, but it's again another really gross couple that was posting
Ugh.
online that their lives were so perfect and they're helping. And again, I'm not saying this has to do with their sexuality or anything like this, but this is why people do question them sometimes
I would say this
because
was right at the height of like the whole like the current trans and LGBT
yes,
movement
in
that
2022, yep, yep.
this really set them back because this was a fucking gnarly.
It is, yeah. So a gay couple in Georgia will spend the rest of their lives in jail after they're convicted of abusing their two adopted sons. William and Zachary Zulock have been sentenced to 100 years in prison without the chance of parole at the
I
Walton
remember reading
County.
that.
Yeah, from the
Fuck.
Walton County District Attorney's Office. William, 34, and Zachary, 36. They adopted two brothers who have now turned 12 and 10 from a Christian special needs agency. And the children were raised by the couple under the guise of being happy and affluent in the Atlanta suburbs. The district attorney said that they truly created a house of horrors and put their extremely dark desires above everything and everyone else. So, do you know
It
how
wasn't
they
even
got
just
caught?
them.
Do you know how
That's the
they
crazy
got
part.
caught? Do you know how they got caught?
I want to.
So allegedly they were Snapchatting people in their ring and they would like pretty much like I don't know if it was rent their children out, but like
Yeah,
have them out to this ring
it
and
was
they
like
would
parties,
Snapchat
and yeah, they would pimp their
their
two
two sons out.
adopted sons out to their friends.
Yeah, and they would Snapchat the abuse and send it saying, "I'm gonna my son tonight," and send that out. And how they got caught is that someone downloaded in that circle, someone downloaded it off of Snapchat onto their
Someone saved it.
computer, and that alerted the authorities. And then the authorities went to this guy, and he exposed everything
That's
about
what I'm
them.
saying. It wasn't just them doing it.
Nope,
It was the fact that they
it was a
were
group.
fucking pimping their children.
Yep,
Children that aren't theirs, that they were given care of and
special
suspected to be
needs,
fucking proper people to take care of special need children. And like, what?
100%,
Pardon me?
100%.
Honestly, those two men deserve the death penalty in my book. And if not, they deserve to be GR'd in prison every day, blown open, stitches and all. Don't give a shit. Like, you deserve the worst of the worst, my friend.
Cactus level,
That
100%.
is fucking vile.
Isn't
Like,
it?
I remember hearing about that, and it was just one of those, like, because everyone was sharing it saying this is exactly the fear of people having, because a lot of the homosexual stuff does revolve around kink and
Yes,
weird and
yes,
the taboo, and
yeah.
like there's a whole underground of that is just
And
perverted and
it can
not in a good
exist.
funny way,
No. Yep.
like the gross perverted. And
Yes.
like I remember people sharing it saying like this is why they don't want the gays to have the same rights to be able to adopt children or trans people, because they have sick twisted minds already, and how dare you be in charge of a child. And I don't necessarily at all believe that for all the
Nope.
gays and lesbians out there, but
But
like
there's some.
that was a damning fucking story. That
Yes.
was an owie of a story for the community. Like,
Yep.
ugh.
And the fact that no one outed them and they were all just like a part of
Right
it,
around
like,
Epstein too, like
yeah.
they're making their own little ring of disgusting. Like it kind of flew under the radar, I feel like, because of all the child stuff that was kind of around that time was when
Yeah.
I heard it. But
And I just like at the
yeah,
end
it
of the
was,
day, I think there just needs to be more in place for adoptions. I'm not saying personally, and I know
yeah,
you're in the same camp, I'm not saying that trans or gays shouldn't adopt. We're not saying that
no,
in the slightest. We're
there
saying
just needs to be better screening and more
better
thorough, like
follow up. Follow
thorough.
up. Where's the
Like, how
follow
the
up?
fuck there wasn't a follow up of like going to see how they're doing, going to do very thorough checkups. Like that should be the thing. You should get checkups weekly for the first year, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes.
Weekly,
Something.
random. Like it's
Something.
just yes, honey.
And you know what? If you're not doing anything bad, you should have no reason to be against that check, right?
It's inconvenient and it can be a pain in the ass, and I can understand that, but you want that child bad enough, that's a stipulation. And if you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna go through the process, this is one of the processes you go through.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because what the fuck?
Exactly. And that's what I mean. And like again, these people weren't necessarily exploiting their kids on TikTok, but they very much made it seem like they were living this perfect life. They were gay
That's the worst
activists
part.
that and then but they're
Gross.
making child porn this whole time. And it's like you always have to look at the ad sometimes you have to look at the ad activists because they're the ones trying to like of course an advocate would never do that. And it's like, well,
And
yeah,
how, like,
actually.
it's just crazy to me that, like, you'd think that these are like one-offs and like
No,
one just like sick mind. They had like a ring of friends, a ring
100%.
of creepy pedo friends doing this.
Yes.
I don't know if they're all homosexual or not,
No,
which really is besides the point.
doesn't matter.
The fact that they had a group of people like-minded is scary.
It's so scary.
We have been trying to find like-minded people for like it's hard.
It's
Why is
scary.
it this hard when those people can find their community amongst the creeps? Like, how the fuck is that work?
I don't
How,
know.
like, it's just been like, I remember that it's not the fact that they did that, it's the fact that they did that and had a group of fucking creepy people,
Egging it on.
those poor boy, like disabled boys, like how fucking immoral and just like disgusting. Like,
It's because
any
I'm not trying to
child,
be
and
that
like
way, but they're
obviously any child, but like
yes, but they're a bit like not weaker, but like they don't understand
they're
and
the most
they
vulnerable.
are and they're very much looking for love and
They
right? They don't get
depended on
that.
those men to like care for them and give them a quality life and to take them out of like foster care by the sounds
Yes.
of it. Like,
Yes.
what the fuck?
I know. I
What
hate
the
it. I hate
fuck?
it. I hate it. And I'm not again, I just wanted to share that like it kind of goes to the online safety episode that I had earlier this month. It's like we need to be aware of some of these platforms. And I'm not saying we need more censorship or I want more government regulation, but at the same time, like a lot of bad shit happens. And I wish there was more things in place to protect kids because like if there's any sort of child porn, like if you can detect it being downloaded, it should be detected if it's being recorded, in my opinion. But then
The
what
fact that
but then what
guys,
levels does that pass to? Because it's like, but then you're giving people access to your video camera, and I don't like that either. But there's got to be something that people that are smarter than me can figure it out. But I just want people to know that, like, sure, of course, share your children, have but
yeah,
don't make money off them. Don't exploit
you
them. Like, make
you've
sure
gotta
you're
you've got to
aware.
have boundaries and limits. Like,
Yes,
I share pictures and videos of Evie still. I've
yes,
kind of tried to stop. On Snapchat, I do more so because it kind of disappears, even
totally.
though we know it doesn't
But
disappear
to
because
other
we like
people, the
it.
common person, it
Yeah,
disappears.
like you can't, and I don't have friends or ever
Right.
add anyone that I do not know
Totally.
personally. Very rare. And on Instagram, I'm not on as much anymore, so I don't really post as much. But like, I do have photos of her on there and
Mhm.
stuff. But then again, my profile is private, and I don't have like random people. But like, I do have, I don't, I wouldn't say I have any friends that do it, but like, I have seen people where it's like just very obvious trying to paint that like perfect little family portrait. Like, we
Yes.
are the perfect
The
family,
Joneses for
with my
sure.
beautiful children. Like,
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with it, but
No.
you can tell it is very much a like using your family to portray that you are, you know,
Something, getting validation.
we're perfect. Here's our, like, that's why, like, I like doing them. I haven't done them yet, but like little like the fall and spring portraits and
Totally.
winter portraits and
Yep.
stuff. Like, I did the photo shoot with Evie,
Yes.
my one girlfriend, and like things like that. And I probably will do like cute little ones here and there, but like, I always found those to be those very like, look at me, we're doing great, we're fine, like everything's good, we're in love, like,
Yep.
and that's fine, but like there's just something very pretentious behind them, and I hate
Yes.
saying that because I just feel like we're so flooded and just like put in our face on Instagram all fucking time. There's just, it's not cute anymore. It's
Yeah.
not original. It's not special. Everyone has those fucking photos.
Yes.
Even Evie saw Santa for the first time this year because
Yay.
I'm not doing. I would like to, but like, I just don't need that. This is her
Yes.
one and this and that. Like, I'm
Totally.
fine with people that do that, but it's just not like, it's
It's
too much
not
effort.
needed. It's not and it's not needed. And I think it's like do
I
whatever
enjoy,
makes you happy, but
yeah.
like don't overdo it and stress yourself out.
Don't
Like
do it for anyone else. Do it for
yes,
you. If you are doing it for you because you like it, that's fine. But if you're doing it
just
to
for
be
the
able to show
gram.
off to the world and like, don't do
No.
that. That's validation at its finest, and you're in denial if you don't think so. So
Yes,
sorry to say
100%.
it. It's
No.
trouble.
And like as a person who was a
It looks like you're
photographer
hunting right now, by
before
the way.
just before social media, being a photographer, it's like I took those photos and it was very much you took those photos because you wanted to have those memories, right?
For
You wanted to have
sure.
that
And
for
like
your family, send it to people that you don't live in
all your
across the
family.
world, right?
Absolutely.
Totally. But
Absolutely.
now it's like, okay, doing that once or a couple times a year, sharing a few of them. But now it's like every single photo. Hold on, let me go put my video and my camera up before we walk in so I can take a video of this. Like that's what I think that bothers me, like getting the aesthetic on Instagram versus
Yeah.
just sharing the memories that you want to share of your proud, happy family. It's doing it for the gram and the aesthetic of the
It's
gram
not showing
versus
your
the
proud happy
memories.
family. It's showing, yeah, like
You're
I can do this too. I can keep up too. I'm cool
totally.
too. And it's just
Yeah. It's
you don't need
damaging.
you can do it because you think it's cool and you think it's fun and you
Yes.
think all that, but like come on.
Yeah, not
I
everyone
mean,
needs to do that either. And I think
yeah.
that's too. It's like do what makes you happy, what's in your means, but don't overstress yourself and break your mental health and just don't extort kids. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like and if you do, if you
Yeah.
are making money off of your children on social media and they're comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it, then put that money away. Put some
But
money
they have
away
to be
for
the
the
age
school. I
to
know,
be
but
able to properly tell you that
maybe
they're comfortable with it
totally,
too,
but
right?
maybe some teenagers are, right? And maybe that is a good
Yeah,
way for them
totally.
to make money and they consented. Like I'm not against that, right? And if it does and if it's done in a respectful way where they are making money, I think that could be beautiful, right? Like we could have like, but like, I
Yeah.
love the parents that teach their kids how to have a small business. It's like, oh, you know how to make
Yes.
bracelets? Let's
That
teach you and
too.
do a Spotify store and teach you how to make a business, right? Like, I think, or like, there's this one DJ, she's like 12 or 13 on TikTok. She doesn't run her TikTok and it's just her and her DJ booth and she's just making music with her dad. And that is it. And that's all that's on there.
Absolutely.
And she's blowing up on there and getting likes and people are going to then listen to her music where
But
she's a
that's a
part of.
talent. Like that's
And that's
something
what I
she can
mean,
like
right? I think that's so
use
cool.
where just existing, like everyone wants to be a fucking Kardashian. You can
Yeah,
blame them for this whole thing. They just want to be able
totally.
to live their life online and have people like want to be them and like covet what they have. And like it's very much a sin to do that if we remember
Yes.
from back in the day
Oh my
Bible. You're
God.
not supposed to be doing that. But like it's just very yeah, it's very much it's the easy life that everyone wants that not everyone gets.
Yes.
You can't just put your life out there and expect everyone to love it and just want to spend like their like life watching you live your life and like promote. Then you got to get into like the deal brands because if
Yep.
you don't, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like that is just like the
It's
ugly, like
exhausting.
I'm so sick of everyone wanting to do this. What happened to carpentry? What happened to like dentistry and like being a doctor or
Being
an
a vet.
astronaut?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes. I know it got ruined from people wanting to just make money
It
off of
is.
dances and
And like
TikToks.
you totally can though. And like
Totally.
dancing is a skill.
Yep.
Like I believe what you do, like telling stories and like bringing stuff to light is a skill. Like there are beneficial
Journalistic
things
stuff.
when it comes to the internet.
Totally.
But now what we're seeing is just the influx of yeah, like the one generation, that one under us that just does not want to do anything
Just
to like make
trends.
money. Like I don't want to make money because I have to pay child support. Well, don't have fucking kids. Wear a condom, you fucking idiot. Like I'm sorry,
You're
but like
making it harder for yourself. Yes. Yes, I
you don't
agree.
want a job because you don't want to pay child support, so you're going to live in squalor with your four other children, soon to be five, when you have other children out there that are probably also living like rough.
Totally.
Like, the hell,
Yeah.
man? Like, think.
I
And then you're
know.
going to put that online and get upset because people are pissed at you. Like,
Or do it to just make money off of it, to
be
upset
so for
people.
fucking real right now.
Yeah.
Like, be real with yourself.
Be helpful and be
Monkey
better.
is
Yeah,
getting right in
he
here.
loves it right now. He's like, "This is my butthole. Look at
He's like, I
it."
remember this.
Yes,
I
I
need to
remember
be
this
on
time. This is my
that.
5
Him and his
seconds.
balloon nut is disgusting. Don't do
Please don't. I don't want to get banned for
I don't need that
I don't need for
butthole
yeah.
where my face is supposed to be. That's going to be the thumbnail.
It is going to be
Brandy's going to clip Smokey's
just
butthole
the
into
butthole.
my face. I'm going to suck
um
his balloon.
but yeah, I totally agree. And like again, we've talked about this so many times. Just be careful, just be aware. There are gross people out there. Everyone has the right to share stuff. Just again, just
I was
think
to say the
forward
best way to like
thinking.
stop this is to not share it and not engage. See it, say what the fuck, maybe share it with a friend and be like,
Yes,
ew, have you seen this? But like you don't need to like it's
perpetuate it.
always the reactions and like the this and the that, like, and the people praising the like Hannah still blows me away that there's people out there saying like you're there is very much there's very much a need for people to start talking more about postpartum and
Yes,
menopause. My stepmom keeps telling me menopause isn't talked about enough, all the
yes,
side effects. Like
yes.
there is very much a need for that conversation. But what we don't need is I hate to say this and it's going to sound rude and I don't give a shit, is teen moms trying to tell us all how to
Be a
raise
parent.
children.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you're in your like early 20s, you have two children that are seriously like debatably doing okay, and like you're going to tell like it's fine, 17 dirty diapers, it's fine. Like would
No,
you,
it's not.
if you saw someone do that, would you be like, "Oh girl, I know, me too." No,
Yes,
you're going to be
no.
like I went and cried in like the bathtub after my daughter went to bed the other night,
Yes.
or I needed a moment and went and hid in the basement while doing laundry while I can hear her looking for me for a few seconds while Nick's
Yes.
in the other room. Like there is
There's
postpartum
moments.
mom guilt, or like I'm going to go do groceries by myself and leave her at home with Nick and you feel bad because you didn't bring her, and it's like small things like that, and even bigger things for sure, but like making your house a disgusting mess with dirty diapers and stuff, that is what deep if it is, that's deep postpartum, and that's when you need to get help. You don't need to share that online. You need to go see someone, and you need to
100%.
try and fix your inside, because that's almost like insulting to your soul to be showing people how broken it is right now after
Yes.
having babies. Having babies is a big deal, and it's a very big jumble fuck up mess for your hormones and your insides, and
Yes.
you should not be making light of it. There's talking about it and making people feel okay about it,
Yes.
and then there's doing what the fuck she's doing, and
It's
it's
like
like not,
glamorizing it too. And it's also
yeah, like it's
terrifying
not.
people too. Like I think stuff like that is so bad for people that don't have babies too, because not,
That's
and we can,
scary.
all this stuff actually, all these vloggings, it actually makes, I think, people want to have kids less because they're like, holy fuck, I don't want to do that. And I'm
It's
not
the
saying,
responsibility of
but
it. They don't, they
it's just
don't
not
see
painting in
the
a good
fun of it
light.
because people are just bitching about it, and people
Yes.
are not, it's never, it's not always, there is that side to TikTok and to Instagram and all that where it's like, I love my children, they're the greatest thing, but people make the most money off of, I love my children, they're the greatest thing, but I could
But
fucking wring their neck someday,
yes.
and I could like punch them in the nose sometimes because like
Yes.
what the fuck, but like
Yes.
to actually actively do some of that shit is wild.
Yes. And it's one
Wild.
thing to be like, oh, I feel this way, I get through emotions, but treating your kids and the actions that you treat your kids, those are two different things. And that's what
Yeah,
gets
totally.
views because
Yeah.
people are like, I can't believe this
Your
is
kids
real.
shouldn't be your outlet.
No, no, absolutely not. And so I
No,
think, yeah,
they're
like
not your
like I
friends.
said, I think it's beautiful sometimes to show that, but I feel like 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
family vloggers, people that share their children chronically online, it's just never a good thing. And I think we should take a pause and let's
Yeah.
see, because you can actually talk to the, look at all the Nickelodeon kids, all the Disney kids. You can start seeing the people that were online early. You can see the effects of them, like Eugenia Cooney, all those kind of things,
Dude, it's
right?
bad.
And that's what I mean.
It's
So it's like maybe take a pause and take a step back. And if your content isn't being shown because it's just not out there without your kids, then don't do that. Find another way to make money.
yeah, you
Point blank,
need,
period.
it just needs, like you said, it needs to stop being the focus of everyone's financial gain is their
Yes.
children,
Yeah.
because their children in most cases are about Evie's age where she doesn't have the
Understanding.
intellectual capacity to understand when I say, "Do you want to be in mommy's video?" Of course she's gonna say yeah, 'cause she wants to hang out with my mom.
Yeah,
She
of
wants to hang
course.
out with me. Of course she's gonna say yeah. But then when she looks back at it in 10 years, is she gonna be like, "Mom, why the fuck did you make me do this? Like, why
Yes.
did I have to come with you? Why do I have like people recognize me now and they're making fun of me for this video because they found it?" And like that's what I feel bad for, is the children of that whole group is eventually going to be like, man, like, do you know how like I can't get a job now because this follows me around because I'm known to be your mom, and like all this like weird shit about me is online now. My whole life is online. Like,
Hmm.
not necessarily that they won't get jobs because of it, but
No,
you
but
know
you
what I mean?
never
That
know.
shit follows you.
You don't know. We don't
Family
know.
vlogs, like,
Yeah, we don't know the effects of it yet, right? And it's like we can already
oh,
see the times of turns of people not wanting to be on social media. So like, and again, just all for personal gain and money. It's not for anything else, and that's what bothers me. And I just feel like we need to get
that's,
away from that. So I wanted to call these out, and I want, to your point, like stop supporting these people. Like I seen there's a big movement of like unfollow Ash Trevino on December 30th, which will be obviously way past when this is posting, because this will
yeah,
be at the end of January. But I think too, like stop hate watching these people. Stop rage baiting,
yeah,
stop giving them what they
yeah,
want, just pretend they don't
yeah,
exist. Like I agree,
yeah.
like I'm glad that some people do watch it to call out the bad stuff, but at the same time they're doing it because they make money and they get views. So if we stop viewing it, then maybe, or like
That's
commenting and
when,
sharing it or
yeah,
stitching it, like that's when all these money start happening. So I think, yeah, that's why I like to watch drama channels, because then it's like I'm getting the information without the person getting the views, right? Like so that's a
that's the
that's a benefit, right? But another, we're gonna finish off with Spooky's butthole. That's going to be the
Smokey.
finishing act. Hello.
You are such a vile cat. Man, these cats, I'm going to tell you, Quilly, before I leave. Do you want to laugh? So,
Yes.
Nick sent me this meme where it says it's a cat passing through a hallway and it says, I puked in the kitchen. And then it says, Merry Christmas as he's walking away. Kitty, this is Smokey. Kitty has been shitting in our upstairs spare bathtub.
Thank
And
you.
then she pushes it down the drain.
How does she know how to do that?
There's a stopper there, thank fuck. But I'm like trying to like pick her shit out of the drain with my fucking nice Christmas nails, obviously with a paper towel. Like, I'm not
Yes.
freehanding this, but I'm like, you stupid bitch.
I
Like,
hate when they do
why?
shit like that.
So today, Nick and I in Evie's bedroom, it smells so gross. It smells like shit or vomit. Like I can't figure it out. I'm like tearing her room apart. Like I'm like, did you puke in here? What is going on? Kitty shit in the bathtub. We didn't know, and it's wafting into her bedroom. And I'm like losing my mind, looking around her room, thinking like
She
like
done
there's
something.
rotten food somewhere. There's
Yeah.
something somewhere. No. Nick goes in the bathroom. He's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." Kitty shit in the tub again. I'm like, I love my cats, but I hate. It's very much the same thing with kids. I love my cats, but I fucking hate my cats.
Especially during this time
He
when they do stuff
pees
like
on
that.
stuff, and now she is shitting in our bathtub. Granted, I'd rather her shit in the bathtub than
Yes.
anywhere else. I would
100%.
still rather her not shit in the bathtub.
I love how he's just like right on your neck.
He's like, but I love
But
you.
I love
But
you,
I
mom.
love
I'm just
you.
showing you. And that's what happens with older age too, right? As they get older,
Yeah.
there's things that are happening too. Sophie gets upset, like anybody just looks at her and she's like crying as if
I'm
someone's attacked her.
sorry.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like fucking
I don't.
whatever.
I
Bitch.
feel like we do see it, but I feel like it's not as big an outrage. People that like use their like animals as clickbait
That too. Yeah. No,
and
I'd never do
animals
that.
as like. I feel like it's not a big thing because people that show off their animals, like it's kind of fun and cool. Like I follow this one girl who has like a little mini funny farm at her house, and I just
Yes.
love it.
Yes,
That's such
agreed.
a
But there
like
are
show me
people.
all your animals.
Yes, but I agree. There
I
is
don't want
like
to see your
there,
children.
yeah, and there is a line too with that too, right? Like our animals being abused just for views and making them perform just like at a circus kind of thing, right? So there's lots of lines, but it's like share your stuff without exploiting. I think that is
Yeah,
the easiest
yeah.
thing, like take a
There's a
beat.
fine line. You need to find it. You need to find
Exactly.
that line. Yeah,
Exactly. That's all we're
yeah.
asking. I think that's great. So that's the couple of nightmares that I've fallen down on TikTok to share with you today.
I'm mind fucked at like how like where that went. Like the first one was like, oh, they just sleep in the kid living room. Okay. And then the last one is like, I'm sorry, she's letting convicts do what in her like what?
And how it's all tied up, it just like kind of it just blew my mind today. I was like, I'm literally going to talk to Haley about this, and by the time
I
this
just
posts, you guys, there's going to be obviously far more because this is about I'm trying to get ahead to end the season, so this will be a month. So but you guys go look at this stuff, and you guys don't go look at it, go look at drama channels that report on it, like Sloan and Do We Know Them and all those girls that deep dive into these ones. That's how I find them, but I just feel like we need to know them so that we don't support them, and
yeah.
also to make sure that we're not emanating this type of behavior as well, right? I think that's super important.
But on that note, here's my child. Use her as a thumbnail and come see her cute face. Watch our video. Just kidding. No, because I've got greasy, dirty hair.
Yeah,
Let me put
that's
the
why we're wearing hats today because we got greasy hair. But
holiday.
amazing way to end this season. Thank you so much, Hales, for visiting this season. It
Absolutely.
was great. A good way
Anything
to
to
end.
do with mamahood, I'm down. I will
Yeah.
react outrage over shitty parents any day.
Any day. And I was like, I feel like I have comments. I just need validation from a mama. And I was like, I know who this is and who I want to end the season with.
Fuck yeah.
Right. And obviously we'll be seeing Hales on season 9. There's no seasons without Haley, just not full time,
No,
which is
I'm
totally
here.
fine. But you're always here. And yeah, guys, that's it for the season. So thank you as always, guys. I'll do a little as I did in my intro, I'll have a little bit more love shout out to you guys. But Hales, as always, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I'll have some more rage bait for you in next season.
Cool.
All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.
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 Thank you guys so much for the support. I cannot thank you enough for being here. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please give me a follow at the Be Real Babe podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, and Pinterest. You can also find me on Facebook at the Be Real Collective. Until next time, guys. Bye.